All right, y'all. I'm trying to keep my zen here. This is the third time I'm trying to record this video, okay? So basically what I wanted to do in this video is give you a little bit of a recap and an update of what's been happening on the ground here in Portland. So when we first started out with the protests, right, we're a pretty big, solid, just one single solitary group that would meet at Chapman Square, which is across the street from the Justice Center, aka the jail, here in downtown Portland. But after the weeks have gone by, the two groups have pretty much the one group has split into two groups. So you have one group who's more of a rowdy crowd, they're agitators, and they stay down by the Justice Center, and they pretty much stand there, start messing with the police towards the end of the night, get the fence going, and the police eventually use very violent tactics to get them out of there. And that's what they've been showing. They've been showing more and more how the police just cannot maintain their composure, even in the slightest, tense situation. They're always on just the edge of exploding their anger, which I think is a very, very smart tactic. I think it's a very important tactic, and I think it's very, very eye-opening to the rest of the world. It's illuminating, I guess you could say, to the rest of the world who maybe didn't understand how brutal the police state here in the United States actually is. Then you have another group that is more of the nonviolent march types. So what they do is they gather in parks in different parts of the city that are not downtown, and they march around the neighborhoods of Portland and in the suburbs to sort of bring people out of their houses and into the streets to join the movement, which is another really spectacular way to build and gather support for your ideology and for the bills that we need to get passed to defund the police and disband the police here in Portland, Oregon. I'm with both sides 100%. Like I just said, I think both tactics are very, very crucial to making what we need to make happen in terms of getting change and the change that we want. And so I have been in full support of every single action. Now, here's where things kind of start to get sketch, right? So here's what I will say. Number one, I'll say that the people down at the Justice Center are mostly white. I've been down there quite a few times, and besides the first couple times when everybody was still out there together, I haven't really seen any black leadership out there. I've mostly seen, like white people who just mess with the fence and then run away from the police at night or they get their ass beat. I haven't seen black speakers. I haven't seen, black youth. I haven't seen other black organizations within the city down there supporting this particular group of protesters, even though I think they should be. Now, on the other hand, the group of nonviolent marchers who march through the city have black speakers every single night. They are led by a black collective here in Portland that I follow. And it's very POC centered. So the problem is that the people down at the Justice Center believe that for whatever reason, the nonviolent protesters don't want people getting involved with what's going on downtown at the Justice Center. Now, keep in mind, there's absolutely zero proof of this. From what I have seen and from what I have heard from the people that are nonviolent is that they are 100% of people joining the protest down at the Justice Center. On the other hand, the people down at the Justice Center just don't feel like they're doing that. So basically, this morning I woke up and I opened up my Instagram account, and it really shook me. Like, I was really, really disturbed to see what I saw today. Because the collective that is organizing parts of the march that's nonviolent is actually black-led. But what I saw on their Instagram account, because they had to change routes at the last minute yesterday due to some reasons, which they said that there was a threat downtown and buildings had to be evacuated, and they had received this information from a confidential source. And what I saw this morning from the white people that are protesting down at the Justice Center was absolutely just despicable and unacceptable. They were literally accusing these black people of lying about that threat and saying that they were trying to pull people away from the Justice Center. by not marching them downtown towards where the threat would be. Personally, me, if I was leading a march and I heard that there could be some threat of violence towards peaceful, not peaceful, but nonviolent marchers that I was leading, I would not take them down there. I would not lead them toward the path of them possibly getting hurt, because that's my march. I'm responsible for these people in the crowd, and it's my call. So I better make a good call. Even if there's the slightest hunch, even if you don't know 100% for a fact that this could be true, why even take the chance? Why even chance anything like that? Anything could happen out there, and then it's going to be your responsibility because you're the one that led those people that way. So basically, these people at the Justice Center were not happy at all that they changed the route of the march, and they're accusing this black-led collective of actually just being cops, basically. Now, they didn't actually go that far, but basically that's what they're saying, because when the march first started happening down at the Justice Center, there would be speakers, and they found out that one of the speakers that said that they were associated with this collective actually was convicted of some pretty heinous shit, and they were connected with the cops because they were trying to get their record expunged. Now, it's the same thing though. This is what I talked about in my last video. It's hard to say who's with who in these kinds of instances, because literally you could say you're with anybody. I could say I'm with, with Antifa if I wanted. Same thing with this collective. Anybody can say they're with this organization because there's nobody checking. There's no sign up form or anything like that. And especially out here right now when people are just gathering in the street, anybody can just pick up a mic and say I'm with blah 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 blah. So who knows if they actually vetted this person, if they knew that they were connected to the police, but I seriously freaking doubt it. But that's besides the point. It's like, from my perspective, it looks like, white people are trying to sow seeds of discontent between these two organizations when there's no proof that there's any discontent whatsoever or hostility between these two organizations. People are just making shit up in their heads, and it's really weird because, first of all, how does it make you any different than the white supremacists who told Cap not to take a knee when you're literally telling this group of black people how they should and how they should not protest? Isn't that the whole fucking point of everything that we're doing right now, is to get white people to shut up and listen for a minute and let black voices be heard? It's like, okay, if there's black people down at the Justice Center and they're saying, hey, we need help out here, please can you connect with this other group? We want to connect with this other group so we can get those bodies down here at the Justice Center. Well, as a white ally, shouldn't your position be uplifting those voices of black people and BIPOC people, and connecting these two organizations so that they can hash it out together, instead of you going on Instagram and trying to call out people on social media to try and demand answers right then and there? It's like, first of all, how many of their protests have you actually went to? Have you ever even talked to anybody from this collective besides on social media? And you're expecting all these answers to come on social media. People ain't gonna tell you shit on social media, first of all. So I'm just really, I was just really upset about that. I had a little bit of a back and forth with this person because they're just being really ignorant. They're just saying, oh, I totally get that this is a black struggle, but it's like, no, there's no but. There's no but. If you really cared about this movement, that's what you would be doing. You would be trying to connect these black people at the Justice Center with the other black people that are marching around town, trying to get them connected with each other, not you trying to yap at this black-led collective. And you're trying to ask them questions and interrogate them. Who are you? Marsha Clark? Why does anybody have to answer your questions? Nobody cares about you. You could be the damn cops. Who are you? Where are your credentials? And furthermore, are you this critical of every single organization that you join? Every single thing that you're a part of, your bocce ball club, your scooter clubs, your softball leagues, are you questioning everybody who's involved in that just like this? Are you saying, oh well, I need to know what your sources are of where you got your information from, because it looks really shady and blah, 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 and literally accusing these people of straight lying about that threat. Well, why? Just because you didn't hear about it? And why should they tell you anything? Does anybody owe you an explanation about anything? They don't. They don't. If people want to come down and march at the Justice Center, guess what? It's a free country. Motherfuckers know how to turn around. Motherfuckers know how to go around the block and get to the Justice Centers. That's what GPS is for. These motherfuckers ain't lost. They just don't want to come down there and mess with y'all. They just ain't messing with y'all. All y'all do is stare at the fence and shake the fence. That ain't gonna do nothing. That ain't gonna create systemic change, y'all. All y'all doing is get your ass beat every night. Every single night you go out there, you get your ass beat, bro. Have you thought about the contingency plan? Let's say hundreds of thousands of black people go down to the Justice Center and shit pops off. What's your contingency plan for protecting black lives? What's your contingency plan for when the police directly target black people? While your white ass gets off scot-free? What's your contingency plan for that? What's your contingency plan 6 months from now when black people are still getting killed in these streets? What's your contingency plan then? What's your contingency plan when you inherit all that money from your grandma and all of a sudden you're in the next tax bracket? What's your contingency plan? Let me ask you a few questions. Let me scrutinize you. Let me vet you, first of all. This is my movement. This is our movement. And we get to decide what happens in this, not you. So, yeah. But, on the other hand, I have been seeing some really, really good things coming out of Seattle. And I think that Portland needs to be more like Seattle. Honestly, look at what they're doing up there with Chaz. That's a beautiful thing. And you can tell that the white people in Seattle have been doing such a good job working with the people of color, because I've seen what's happening at Chaz, and only people of color can put something together that smooth and that quick and that easy and that beautiful. Only people of color can do that. White people cannot do that on their own. So let's not even get it twisted, y'all. There's racism even within this anti-racist movement. And until white people can fully track their privilege, we're not going to get anywhere with this situation. We're not going to get anywhere with this situation. So wake up. If you really care about this movement, shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down somewhere. All right, I'm out.